Year 1789. While Asia trembled beneath empires of steel and arrogance, in the mist-filled valleys of Dai Viet, a man in a peasant's robe rose to defy the impossible. The capital, Thăng Long, had fallen. Qing banners covered the walls. Villagers were forced to hang red lanterns to honor their conquerors. But far to the south, in Phú Xuân, thousands of soldiers knelt before a torch-lit command tent. Their leader stepped forward, calm, tall, his armor glowing red in the fire. His name was Nguyễn Huệ, the man who would soon become Emperor Quang Trung. He raised his sword toward the north and spoke only one sentence: "This Tet, we feast in Thăng Long." 7 days later, 600 kilometers away, the mightiest army in Asia lay broken. 29 legions of Qing soldiers burned in the rivers of Đống Đa. This is no legend, it is history written in fire. The story of a nation reborn in one spring, when courage moved faster than time itself. The Battle of Đống Đa, 1789. Late 1788. The land of Dai Viet is torn apart, divided between three powers, its dynasty fading like a dying flame. To the north, the Qing Empire watches, waiting for weakness. To the south, the Tây Sơn rise with steel and fury. And in the center, the young king Lê Chiêu Thong, desperate to reclaim his throne, makes the fatal choice. He invites the Qing army into his homeland under the banner of restoring the Lei. But what arrives is not salvation, it is invasion. 290,000 soldiers cross the border, their armor glimmering under the winter sun, their banners declaring heaven's order. In Thăng Long, lanterns of forced celebration glow over the ruins. The people are commanded to hang red lights in their doorways, not for the new year, but for their conquerors. Mothers hide their children. The streets echo with the sound of foreign drums. General No Van Soor, unable to withstand the tide, orders a retreat to the mountains of Tam Diep to preserve what little strength remains. In the capital, Tôn Si Nigi celebrates his hollow victory, boasting that Dai Viet has bowed to the empire. And far away in Phú Xuân, beneath the red torches of a southern fortress, a messenger rides through the night.
He kneels before Nguyễn Huệ, his voice trembling. "My lord, Thăng Long has fallen." For a moment, silence, only the wind and the hiss of torches. Then Nguyễn Huệ rises, eyes burning like fire. The storm has found its reason to awaken. When the night grows darkest, that is when heroes appear. Night falls on Phú Xuân, a night that would burn into history. In the fortress courtyard, the firelight dances upon thousands of soldiers. Their armor glows red beneath the torches, faces steady, eyes aflame. Nguyễn Huệ steps forward, the warrior who would soon be emperor. "Brothers," his voice cuts through the wind, "our homeland burns. The invaders think our spirit is broken, but the fire of Dai Viet still lives." The drums fall silent. A golden crown gleams under the torchlight. Nguyễn Huệ kneels, and in that moment, destiny kneels with him. The monk's voice trembles. Heaven bears witness. When he rises, he is no longer merely a man. He is Quang Trung, emperor of flame and resolve. He draws his sword, its edge catching the fire. Within 7 days, we march north. This Tet, we feast in Thăng Long. The crowd erupts. Spears rise. Drums explode. From Phú Xuân to the mountains, to the Red River itself, the heartbeat of a nation begins to thunder once again. Because when one people share one faith, they can move the world. From the 23rd to the final night before Tet, The roads of Dai Viet shook beneath thousands of footsteps. The Tây Sơn army marched north, through rain, through mud, through mist. They moved as one body, one breath, one soul. Drums echoed through the valleys, blending with thunder. In every village they passed, the people waited with food and tears. Old women handed rice balls wrapped in banana leaves. Children bowed as soldiers rode by. Farmers lit torches, guiding the road. And somewhere in the dark, a voice whispered, "Heaven bless the Tây Sơn, may they save our land." Days blurred into nights, yet no soldier faltered. Nguyễn Huệ rode at the front, his red armor gleaming like a moving flame. His eyes, sharp as lightning, saw not the distance, but destiny. At every halt, he dismounted, sharing food with his men. He spoke softly, reminding them, "The people walk with us. Every rice ball, every torch is a prayer." The generals followed, Phan Van Lun leading the vanguard, Dang Tiên Dung commanding the cavalry, and Mo Van Sir preparing the ground ahead. The march became more than movement. It was music. The drums of Tây Sơn were no longer war. They were hope. From Phu Xuân to Tam Diep, from mountain to field, the voice of a nation rose like a song that would never die. Because the strength of a nation is a river, and the hero only its guiding boat. The morning of the 5th day of Tet, 1789, the dawn that shook an empire. As mist crawled over Ngọc Hoi's fortress walls, the Tây Sơn army waited, silent, unflinching. The ground trembled beneath thousands of feet. Elephants shifted restlessly, and drums beat like the pulse of a storm. At the front stood Emperor Quang Trung, armor glinting red through the smoke. He looked toward the Qing stronghold and raised his sword. "Brothers, today we end this war, not with rage, but with wisdom. Remember, water tames fire, and unity breaks stone." His words vanished into the mist, replaced by the thunder of drums. Wet buffalo hide shields rose, layer upon layer, as the soldiers advanced through smoke and gunfire. Cannons roared, but their flames died on the soaked hides. Arrows shattered, bullets hissed into water and mud. Then came the roar, the elephants. Massive and unstoppable, they surged forward, breaking barricades, carrying banners of flame. Behind them, Quang Trung charged, his sword slicing through chaos. The fortress fell like a burning mountain collapsing into the river. Fire mixed with fog. The sound of victory drowned the sky. As the smoke cleared, the banners of Dai Viet rose above Ngọc Hồi. The empire that had once trembled now stood, reborn in fire and unity. Because in every age, strength alone fades, but the mind, the heart, and the people endure forever. Morning rose over Đống Đa, not with peace, but with fire. Smoke rolled across the ruins of Kern III. The Qing army, broken and terrified, fled through fields soaked in dew and ash. Their banners, once golden, now hung torn and blackened by fire. General Sum Ni Dong, cornered within the fortress, stared into the rising sun.
He had sworn to defend Thăng Long. Now his oath burned beside the walls. As the Tây Sơn drums thundered closer, he drew his sword and whispered, "Better death than shame." His blade flashed once and fell silent. Across the fields, Tôn Si Nigi, the proud commander of the Qing, fled with his horse still saddled, cloak torn by wind, eyes wide with disbelief. Behind him, the battlefield roared with the cry of victory. Fire consumed the enemy camps, elephants charged through the wreckage. and the bronze drums of Tây Sơn rolled like thunder through the valley. From the smoke rose a single red flag, tattered but unyielding. It rose above Đống Đa, above the ashes of empire, above the dreams of conquerors turned to dust. The people of Thăng Long wept, not from sorrow, but from freedom. For on that morning of Tet, Dai Viet was reborn beneath the red flag of the Tây Sơn. Because no army, no empire, no throne can outlast the will of a people who refuse to kneel. The fire of war had ended, but its smoke still lingered over Thăng Long. In the quiet morning after battle, Emperor Quang Trung stood among the ashes. Around him lay silence, not of fear, but of exhaustion. His soldiers waited for orders, swords still stained with victory. But instead of vengeance, his voice was soft. Enough. The drums stopped, the shouting ceased, only the wind remained. Gather the fallen, he said, bury them with respect, friend or foe alike. The soldiers looked at one another, uncertain, until they saw his eyes, calm, deep, full of understanding. They too died for their king, he murmured. The world has seen enough death. So began the first act of peace. Soldiers laid down their weapons and lifted shovels instead. The river ran clear again, the smoke faded. Bells echoed from a distant pagoda. And under the new light of spring, envoys from the Qing came to bow before him, not in defeat, but in recognition. The treaty was sealed with silence, not boasting. The war was over, the nation reborn. Quang Trung turned toward the sunrise and whispered, "May peace last longer than the memory of war. For in victory without mercy, there is no greatness. But in mercy after war, a nation finds its soul." Centuries have passed, yet each spring, the drums of Đống Đa still echo across Vietnam. In every generation, the people remember. Beneath blooming peach trees and golden sunlight, they gather where heroes once stood, to celebrate the victory that redefined freedom. The hills of Đống Đa, once blackened by war, now resound with laughter, music, and the rhythmic beat of bronze drums. Children wave red flags, their faces bright with pride they do not yet understand, but somehow feel in their hearts. The old and the young march together, their voices singing songs of triumph once carried by the wind of history. In temples and squares, incense smoke rises, not in mourning, but in gratitude. Quang Trung's name is whispered not as a memory, but as a heartbeat, alive in the spirit of unity and courage that defines a nation. Every year, as the drums roll and the flags rise against the sky, one truth returns. Freedom is not a gift. It is a flame carried forward from ancestor to child, from past to future. And so long as that flame burns within the hearts of the Vietnamese, every spring will forever be Đống Đa.